and welcome back to another installment in our Master Mode Korok Seed Challenge. Brief refresher if you're just joining us, we are on a quest to gather all 900 Korok seeds before we complete any of the shrines beyond those required by the Great Plateau. Today we will be on a quest to collect seeds 80 through 100, so before we get started, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and feel free to do so if you're not. The subscription is free and easy and we bring content to you on a daily basis. And don't forget to leave a like and a comment on the video to let me know what you think. Without further ado, let's jump into the seeds of today's video. First off, seed number 81 is starting off with a rock under which a Korok is hiding. Now this is up above the Gerudo Canyon on a little ledge here, so you just need to drop down onto the platform and raise the rock. And fair warning, there's going to be a lot of these types of seeds, and we will be reacting to them all in about the same way by dropping the rock back on top of their head. The next seed we are looking at, however, is not a rock puzzle, but rather a magnesis puzzle. It's up on top of this little cliffside here, and this block is actually really easy to track down. It's in the adjoining puzzle. You've just got to move it from completing the square to make it match the puzzle to its immediate right. Dropping the block into place will snap it into the correct location, and that will prompt the Korok seed from this particular puzzle. Korok seed number 83 is back to the rocks on top of rocks, and this rock happens to be on top of a giant stone pillar. Now there's a slightly shorter stone pillar immediately next to this, and I found it easiest, especially with the limited amount of stamina that we have, to climb up the other tower to the top and then glide over to the other one to conserve some of your stamina and make it to the top with minimal effort. Seed number 84 is another magnesis block puzzle. This one is a lot more elaborate looking, but in all reality it's pretty simple in its design. So I did take a brief moment just to kind of walk around and figure out exactly where this piece needs to be dropped into. But after a quick look, it's generally safe to assume that if the magnesis block is on one portion of the puzzle, you need to move it over to the other portion of the puzzle in order to make it fit. And we've just located where that block needs to go to make it match this formation on the left. So let's go ahead and grab that, move it over to the appropriate location, drop it into place, and just like that, we have this Korok seed with little to no effort involved in its acquisition. Seed number 85 is actually another magnesis block puzzle, but it's down off of these plateaus, and we'll need to glide down to basically the very base of where these plateaus are at. Now, this one, again, is pretty simple once you actually get there, and I always find it kind of fun and exhilarating when you're gliding down from these high places to play a little bit of a risky game to see how close you can get to the ground before absolutely dying, and the more you practice it, the better you're going to be at it. So let's go ahead and pick up this block and move it directly to the top, making it identical to the statue on the right, and collect the seed from the waiting Korok here. Seed number 86 is one more magnesis block puzzle, and probably one of the last that we'll be seeing for a little bit here. This puzzle is pretty simple. The block is hiding under this little scaffolding, hiding off of the edge, and this time it's not the left statue that we need to throw that onto, but rather the right. So let's go ahead and drop that into place in the little apparatus there and collect the Korok seed from this location as well. Seed number 87 is another pillar that we've got to climb up, though this one is quite a bit shorter, and we have a lot easier access to the Korok at this location. So let's go ahead and collect that rock and then drop the rock back on top of his head. Seed number 88 is actually a race puzzle, but this one is very, very simple in its acquisition. Basically, there's this little stump puzzle here that we need to run across the top of, and that plateau off in the distance is where the subsequent ring that we'll need to go over to is located. But this one moves really pretty slow, and even on minimal stamina, you're able to comfortably climb up this cliff face and collect the little challenge ring from here. Though you don't want to take it too slow, so prioritizing your route along that side where you can pause if needed will be best for re-energizing your stamina as you climb up to the top of the pillar and then sprint over to the ring to collect the seed. Seed number 89 is another rock. This one's up on a cliffside, so let's go ahead and lift it off of his head, collect our reward, and drop it right back on top of him. Seed number 90 is this little diamond pattern over here on top of this plateau. Now, as you come over to it, you'll need to be cautiously aware of the keys that are hanging out over here. And you also need to be a little cautious when using tools made of metal, as that can really spell some bad news for you. Luckily, we had a Moblin arm on standby that we could use as an impromptu weapon there. The rock isn't hidden too far away from this, so you just got to walk over to the side, pick it up, and then complete the inner of the two diamonds, which takes a little bit of finagling, but as soon as you have it lined up properly, you should be able to just drop it down on the ground and collect the seed from this puzzle here. Seed number 91 is just down below this little plateau from the last puzzle, and it's behind this bombable wall. But wouldn't you know it, as soon as we bomb the wall obstructing this little corner, we are greeted by yet another rock that we've got to lift. So let's lift that up, collect the seed, and immediately try and put the Korok back under it. At least he had the decency to hide a little bit better than some of his other buddies that tend to hide under rocks. We've got yet another rock. This one is on the cliffside up here, and we'll just need to walk right over to it, lift it off of the ground, and not going to spend too much more time finagling here because there's nothing super entertaining to look at in this neck of the woods. Seed number 93 is another one of these bomb wall puzzles. And this one is down off of the cliffside a little bit closer to the bottom, and likewise tucked back in a corner. So let's go ahead and chuck our bomb over there, explode the wall, walk over to the rock, and claim the seed from this spot. Yeah, there's a lot of these rocks, or Koroks, hiding under rocks, and it does tend to get a little bit tedious as you continue. From here, we needed to take a little bit of a break and go over to the next Sheikah Tower in this area. And this is purely with the design to free up some portions of the map that don't require special protective gear like some of the other areas that we have been focusing on, as most of them are pretty arid or pretty dry. So from the top of this tower, let's go ahead and find our way all the way down to this little pond. And I wasn't sure just how far down the drop was, or whether or not I was going to bonk my head on a rock on the way down. So we make our way to this little outcropping here. And this one is probably one of the more tricky magnesis block puzzles, not only because the block itself is hidden down below the water in the murky depths, but the puzzle on the wall is hidden quite well because it's in a dark, shadowy place, and, you know, it's just not a great place for the outcropping of that puzzle. But if you analyze the wall for a little bit, you'll be able to make out the shapes of these puzzle bits on the wall. You'll want to use some cryonis in order to get the magnesis block a little bit closer to the target, as well as jumping your way over to the actual platform, which will make it a lot easier for you to place this block in its rightful spot. Now, it is the puzzle on the left, like we've seen with a lot of these other puzzles that we've done, and it can be a little difficult if you're not lined up perfectly, but the cliff face does help you guide the block into the correct spot so you can get the seed out of this location. Seed number 95 I found on my way to find a different seed, but it's one of these rock puzzles that's on the ground. And again, I found it most beneficial to switch over to your stasis rune in order to locate the rock that you are looking for to complete that puzzle. This one happens to be hiding in a bush, but as soon as we pick that up and walk it over to the puzzle on the ground, it's very obvious where this particular rock needs to go to unlock the secrets of this puzzle, which, surprise, it's another seed. Seed number 96 is another rock on a cliff face, similar to the one that we saw at the beginning of this video. This one is up above this little river canal area, but you will need to glide to it from one side or climb down the opposing cliff face to collect the seed and then drop the rock back on his head. Very nearby here, we have a diving puzzle. Haven't seen one of these in a good minute, but we'll go ahead and take a running start off of this cliff, jump right into the ring down below, and collect the seed from here, which gets us just about to the end of the video. Only a couple left here. Seed number 98 is another one of these seeds that's hiding behind a wall that you need to bomb out. Similarly to all these types of puzzles, they are hidden in the corner area, but as soon as you bomb that wall out of the way, you'll have easy access to that rock to lift it up. And have I said enough yet that there's a lot of these Koroks that tend to hide under rocks? Seed number 99 is a flower trail puzzle. Nice little change in pace of what we've seen. This one just kind of has you following this flower up this side cliff area, and it's not as difficult to follow as some of the other flowers that we've encountered so far on our literal adventure here. As a matter of fact, we really don't even need to climb up anything in order to access it. But one more flower after this one, we have the white flower, which we can grab and collect the Korok seed from here. Now, seed number 100 is a little bit of a treacherous one, as we have this time trial, but the location of this seed is not exactly in a very friendly place. You see it zips all the way over there to the far distance, and where that actually is on top of a spawn or an enemy encampment. So we're going to need to run our way over. And if I did this the smart way, I would have cleared out all of the enemies before getting this started and attempted it during the day. But where's the fun in that? Because this is more of a challenge than a, logical run. So let's go ahead and avoid the different enemies that are cropped up here by running all the way up to the top of this fortress, which luckily most of the opponents will kind of react to you in a negative light before they actually seek to deal out any attacks. Now this guy is standing guard over the actual Korok himself, but luckily the time in the rest of the overworld does pause as you acquire the seeds out of it. Well, I've got to run out of this circumstance, but we'll be back next week with another episode and another 20 seeds. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to drop a like on the video, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.